MPC Municipal Planning Commission meeting to order. As we have two members coming in remotely, I will call I'll do a roll call vote right now. Member LaPrice.
I'm present.
Member Link.
Good morning.
Member Kester.
Present.
Member Larson.
Present.
Member Clausen. And Member Bigger.
Good morning.
And Member Eichert is here. The Municipal Planning Commission is conducting this meeting in person and via conference call in accordance with the Municipal Government Act, Section 199. Council chambers is now open for public attendance in person. However, members may still join the meetings remotely using our current teleconference process. As per Wheatland County Policy 7.13, members of the public are not permitted to speak unless the commission agrees to hear from them. If the commission agrees to allow the public to speak, the chair will call upon specific individuals at that time. Please note that this call is being recorded and will be uploaded to our website and/or social media. For any individuals using the conference call line, we ask that you mute your phone to eliminate background noise. Everyone has the right to be present at Municipal Planning Commission meetings. Any attendees that are considered disruptive to the process of this meeting may be removed at the discretion of the chair as per Municipal Government Act, Section 198. We thank you for your cooperation and understanding. I will be, this meeting will be, the votes will all be by exception, so I will be asking if anyone's opposed. If there is no opposition, it will be deemed passed. Thank you very much. We have the agenda in front of us. Are there any changes by staff? Seeing none, MPC's wishes.
We can move approval of the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Member Link. Is anyone opposed? Seeing and hearing none, that is deemed passed. We have the unapproved minutes of June 10th, 2025. Are there any corrections? And if not, can I get somebody to move the minutes for me, please? Yes, Member LaPrice.
Also move.
Thank you very much. Anyone opposed? Seeing and hearing none, that is deemed passed. We now move on to development permit applications, 2.1. Thank you.
Good morning, MPC. Rachel Hansen with Planning Development Services to present the first 4 applications this morning. We'll start with on page 9 of the agenda package. The first application is DP 2025-031 for a dwelling single detached with a variance to the top slope. On page 16 is the location plan. It is within the hamlet of Cheadle, directly adjacent to Highway 24 on the north end of Cousin Street. The application was circulated to adjacent landowners +1 with no responses. During the agency circulation, Alberta Transportation stated, the proposed development will require a highway roadside development application and subsequent development permit for the development. The applicant has been made aware of this requirement and a condition has been added that a copy shall be provided to the county prior to construction commencing. During the internal circulation, Manager of Operations stated that a new driveway application will be required. As Cousin Street is chip seal road, the surfacing for the portion of the driveway on county property may either be asphalt or gravel. Planning provided a summary outlining the application, how the application aligns with the MDP and the Cheadle ASP. The site plan is on page 17. The application is for a variance for a dwelling single detached with a 3-car attached garage. The dwelling is proposed to be closer than the required setback of 30.48 meters from the top bank where the grade is 15% or more. A low area containing a drainage course runs along the west boundary of the parcel. The top bank meanders along the western extent of the lot where the land slopes towards the drainage course. The closest point of the structure to the top bank is the rear deck, which is proposed to be 12.02 meters from the top bank. The attached garage is situated further north on the parcel and will be 16.52 meters from the top bank. In support of the variance application, a slope stability assessment was submitted, which indicates that the site is suitable for the specific development as proposed. Further information regarding the assessment may be found in the technical review section. Aerial photos are on page 19. And illustrations of the proposed dwelling are found on pages 21 and 22. It's the front and the back. In conclusion, staff recommendations begin on page 10. And they consider that the slope stability assessment indicates that the site is suitable for the proposed development. The setbacks and development permit conditions will protect the slope and drainage course from adverse impacts. No concerns were raised from the surrounding landowners, the agency circulation, or the internal peer review. Staff recommendation is that Municipal Planning Commission approve DP 2025-31 for a dwelling single detached with a variance to the top bank subject to the conditions as noted 1 through 11. MPC has the standard 3 response options as found on page 14. And this concludes my presentation. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. I'll move that MPC approves DP 2025-031 for a dwelling single detached with variances subject to the following conditions 1 through 11. Any discussion?
Just a couple questions, just for clarity for administration. So in condition number 1, there are variances for a front porch and a side deck as well. So we're not considering those because I assume they are less than 10% of the variance required, or?
I believe that is correct. Yes.
So okay. And then I just had one more question. Normally there would be something mentioned about sewer pollution. I didn't notice that in this one, so I was just curious if there should be, or if we're not concerned about that there be sufficient space, or.
I'm helping for Suzanne today. So in Cheadle, I'm not quite sure what the utilities are. I believe it's septic and well. And that as it's a new construction, I believe they would have to, the property meets the setbacks for those. Is that correct?
Through the chair to the commission, it may not be a condition because it becomes part of our safety code permitting, and they will have to submit a septic tank application with the drawings, tank and septic field and testing. There'll be test pits done, and they will have to meet and comply with the code of practice for septic tanks.
Thank you very much.
Any other discussion? If there is none, I will call the vote. Is anyone opposed? Seeing and hearing none, that is deemed passed. We will move on to 2.2.
Rachel Hansbeaton for the second application. It begins on page 23 of the agenda package. It is for DP 2025-097 for an accessory dwelling. The location plan is on page 28. It's located approximately 9.66 kilometers southeast of Rockyford, 530 meters north of Highway 564 on the west side of Range Road 225. The application was circulated to adjacent landowners within a 1-mile radius with no responses received. During the agency circulation, Alberta Transportation did state the proposed development falls within the permit area of the provincial highway as outlined in the Highways Development and Protection Act regulation. The proposed development, however, will not cause any concern for ongoing highway operation or future highway expansion. Alberta Transportation Economic Corridors, therefore, issues an exemption from the permit requirement. The site plan and aerial photos start on page 29. The application is to permit a pre-owned manufactured dwelling to be the second permanent residence on the parcel defined as an accessory dwelling. The proposed manufactured dwelling is 1,216 square feet and was constructed in 1999. It will be situated where an older mobile home had previously been located. The proposed dwelling meets all the applicable setbacks within the land use bylaw. The mobile and primary dwelling are allowable housing types specified for this use. The application meets the requirement of the accessory dwelling that an accessory dwelling may not be larger than 80% of the size of the primary dwelling, which is 1,651 square feet. The proposed dwelling will share a spring-fed water system with the primary dwelling. Each dwelling will have a separate septic system. Both will share an existing access from Range Road 225. Photos of the proposed mobile are on page 33. And the existing dwelling is on page 34. In conclusion, staff recommendations begin on page 24. It considered the land use bylaw criteria for allowing a second residence on a parcel that is smaller than 80 acres in size. No concerns were raised during circulation to adjacent landowners from the internal circulation or from agencies. Additionally, the proposed accessory dwelling meets the land use bylaw requirements and no variances have been requested. Staff recommendation is that Municipal Planning Commission approve DP 2025-097 for a dwelling accessory subject to conditions 1 through 7. MPC has the standard 3 response options as found on page 26. I'm available for questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you. MPC's wishes.
I move that Municipal Planning Commission approve development permit 2025-097 for a dwelling accessory subject to the following conditions 1 through 7, I believe. Yeah, 1 through 7.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I'll call the vote. Is anyone opposed? Hearing no opposition, that is deemed passed. We'll move on to 2.3, which is DP 2025-102.
Rachel Henson-Beaton for the third application that begins on page 35 of the agenda package. DP 2025-102 is for an accessory dwelling. The location plan is on page 40. It is located approximately 6.44 kilometers south of Rosebud, 100 meters south of Township Road 264 on the east side of Range Road 220. The application was circulated to adjacent landowners within 1 mile with no responses. Internal circulation, the manager of operations did state, a portion of the existing county roadway, Range Road 220, lays outside the legal right-of-way on private lands. The county has been working with the landowners to establish a right-of-way in the location of the existing roadway since late 2023. Consideration should be given to require the applicant to enter into an acquisition agreement with the county to establish a legal right-of-way in the location of the road. An individual ownership plan has been provided identifying the required area. A copy of the IOP is attached to this report, and a condition has been added to address this matter. Planning provided a summary of how the application aligns with the policies of the MDP and the LUB. Site plan and aerial photos begin on page 41. The application is to permit a new manufactured dwelling to be the second permanent residence on the parcel defined as an accessory dwelling. The proposed manufactured dwelling is 1,672 square foot. The proposed dwelling meets all the applicable setbacks within the land use bylaw. The mobile and primary dwelling are allowable housing types specified for this use. The application meets the requirement that an accessory dwelling may not be larger than 80% of the size of the primary dwelling, which is 4,258 square feet. The owner is contemplating drilling a new well for the accessory dwelling, and the new residence will utilize a separate septic system. The parcel is surrounded by all sides of by agricultural land, with a creek meandering along the eastern parcel boundary. Both dwellings will share an existing access from Range Road 220. Photos of the proposed is on page 46. And the existing is on page 47. In conclusion, staff recommendations start on page 36. It considers that there are no concerns raised during the circulation to adjacent landowners from internal circulation or from other agencies. The proposed accessory dwellings meet the land use bylaw requirements and no variances have been requested. Staff recommendation is that Municipal Planning Commission approve DP 2025-102 for a dwelling accessory subject to the conditions 1 through 7, which include condition 7. Prior to the construction commencing of the accessory dwelling, the landowner or their attorney duly authorized under the irrevocable specific power of attorney dated December 10th, 2024, may enter into a voluntary land acquisition agreement with Wheatland County for the purchase of approximately 3.89 acres, more or less, of private land legally described as descriptive plan 9310855 lot 55A, expecting thereout all mines and minerals which contain a portion of Range Road 220 that lies outside the legal right-of-way. Under such an agreement, the county will purchase the land at its current market value as determined by a professional appraiser licensed in Alberta. For further information, contact transportation@wheatlandcounty.ca. MPC has the standard 3 response options as found on page 38. And this concludes my presentation. We're available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. MPC's wishes.
Move that Municipal Planning Commission approve development permit 2025-102 for a dwelling accessory following to the following conditions, 1 through 6 for now. It's number 7. I have a couple questions for.
Okay, thank you, Member Kester. Discussion. You, Member Kester.
Number 7. Can't remember approving a permit where they have to sell land first. This part of the condition. I know there are some issues down there, but I've never seen that before.
Brad's going to come and speak to that part.
Good morning, Brad Bullock with administration. The note on there is probably more of a note than a requirement in the way it's worded. This is a road that we've been trying to align for quite some time, and there has been a change of ownership in this property recently, and so it was more just a note from administration to say if the landowner is interested in taking care of it as part of this approval process, that administration is still looking to do that and is happy to do that if they want. But it is worded as they may do it rather than as a hard requirement.
Okay, so staff wouldn't be upset if we just rename number 7 as a note to the application? As it's using that word may too.
Through the chair of the commission. Yes, because as Mr. Bullock said, it is saying may enter in, and we're working with with the previous landowner and the current one. So as a note, so that we can follow through with the application, that it would go on regardless of the DP.
So it's going to happen either way. And being that condition to me is always, why do that? This note is a may. It's the wording, but I don't want to change the wording either to must, because it is prior, it is, I would just, conditions 1 to 6, but you can change number 7 to a note. I would be happy with that.
Any other, administration has no problem with that? Any other? So your motion is 1 through 6, and then number 7 is a note.
Yeah, change number 7
to a note as. Okay. Is that clear to everybody? Is there any discussion on that?
I guess just in clarification, I don't believe this has really come to council yet, but it's a road, part of the grass walled system. It's built along a creek. Creek changes. I don't know where the creek was at the time the road was built, but the road was not built on the road allowance. And for the most part, I think the residents are amenable to getting it straightened out, but there's always, it's just one of them things. I've had a few of them. I've had ratepayers own a bridge out there. They actually shared it down the middle, so that come to a successful conclusion. So it's just just part of the way the land is subdivided and surveyed, ownership out there. So,
Thank you for that clarification. Any questions from Member Bigger or Member Clausen? Right. So hearing none, I will, is anyone opposed to this? Hearing no opposition, that is deemed passed. We will move on to 2.4, which is DP 2025-103.
Good morning, Rachel Hanson Beaton for my final application. Begins on page 48 of the agenda package. It is for DP 2025-103 for home-based business 3. The location plan is on page 58. It is located 6.4 kilometers northeast of Gleason, 4.8 kilometers east of Highway 1 on the south side of Township Road 224. The application was circulated to adjacent landowners within a 1-mile radius with no responses received. Internal circulation, fire services did state that a fire inspection is required and should be a condition of the DP. A condition has been added to address this recommendation. Planning provided a summary of how the application aligns with the MDP and the LUB. Manager of operations did state that signage must be installed on private property. It is not permitted to be installed within the road right of way or on the approach. Care should be taken to ensure that the signage does not create a sightline issue for the traffic exiting the site. A condition has been added to address this recommendation. Site plan and aerial photos begin on page 54. The application is for a combination welding shop and memorial engraving business. The welding business fabricates structural steel components, and the engraving business offers personalized memorial products for people and pets using materials such as granite and wood. 2 buildings will be constructed on site, a 3,900 square foot shop for welding and engraving activities, and a 1,800 square foot storage tent. The storage tent will be used for personal storage only, as they plan to remove an older garage and several smaller structures currently on site. The land use bylaw only allows 1 accessory structure for a home-based business 3. Outdoor storage includes a steel rack and laydown area adjacent to the shop for new material. The property has an established shelter belt which provides screening along Township Road 224. Business is conducted primarily by phone and online, so customers' visits are rare. It is anticipated only 1 delivery every 1 to 2 weeks. There will be 2 employees, including the owner and a local laborer, to be hired in the future if required. Hours of operation will be Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. In conclusion, staff recommendations start on page 49. It considers that the proposal aligns with the LUB home-based business criteria and the intent of the MDP policies, as it provides an opportunity for the expansion and diversification of the county's commercial base and employment opportunities. No concerns are raised from surrounding landowners or the internal peer review. Staff are recommending that Municipal Planning Commission approve DP 2025-103 for a home-based business 3 for a 2-year term, subject to the conditions as noted 1 through 12. They also include condition 9, which states a signage plan to be provided if signage is proposed in the future, and condition 11 for the fire inspection. MPC has a standard 3 response options as found on page 51. This concludes my presentation. Please let me know if you have questions.
Thank you very much. MPC's wishes. Yes, Member LaPriest.
I'll move that Municipal Planning Commission approve DP 2025-103 for home-based business type 3, subject to the conditions 1 through 12, but I do have a question about condition number 12.
Thank you. We'll address this in your discussion.
Okay. May I ask why we're doing a 2-year term? Was that a request from the applicant, or is there a reason for doing that?
I believe that home-based business 3 is always a 2-year term, and then they reevaluate at that time. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call anyone opposed. Seeing and hearing none, that is passed. We will now move on to subdivision applications.
Morning, Jessica Russell with Development Services, presenting the next 4 applications. Subdivision application SD 2025-002 proposes to create 2 parcels within Lot 1, Block 1, Plan 231-2058. The lands are located 800 meters north of the hamlet of Lealta and the intersection of Range Road 264 and Township Road 252. Adjacent land uses are predominantly agriculture, farmsteads, and country residential. The application proposes to create 1 plus or minus 1.34 hectare parcel and a plus or minus 6.74 hectare remainder parcel. Proposed Lot 1 is undeveloped. The application includes a Phase 1 groundwater supply assessment, a Level 2 PSTS model process report, and a site-specific stormwater implementation plan supporting the residential development of the lot. Lot 1 is accessed by an existing gravel approach from Range Road 264 to the west. Lot 2 is developed with a farmstead and accessory buildings used for agricultural purposes. The lot is serviced by existing water and wastewater servicing infrastructure and is accessed by 2 existing gravel approaches from Range Road 264 to the west. Water servicing for Lot 1 is proposed by a water well. The groundwater supply assessment concludes that there are sufficient aquifer supplies to accommodate the proposed residential development. Upon review of the technical reports, the county's third-party engineers confirmed that the diversion of water for the household purposes will not interfere with agricultural or household users in the area. Wastewater servicing for Lot 1 is proposed by an individual private sewage treatment system. The PSTS assessment and site evaluation demonstrates feasibility of the proposed low-density development on the parcel, suggesting installation of a soil-based on-site wastewater treatment system with considerations. Upon review of the technical reports, the county's third-party engineers noted that the proposed location of the wastewater system conflicts with the proposed bioretention pond in the submitted site-specific implementation plan. The location of the wastewater system, bioretention pond, and applicable setbacks may be confirmed at the development permit stage. Lastly, the application includes a site-specific stormwater implementation plan, which recommends the installation of Curlex logs for erosion and sediment control purposes, with no stormwater management required until construction. Upon review of the technical reports, the county's third-party engineers note that a proposed bioretention area may conflict with the proposed location for the sanitary treatment system area, as noted, which may be coordinated by the applicant within the development permit stage. The proposal is consistent with the agricultural policies within the Municipal Development Plan, or the MDP, which considers the environmental impacts and conflict mitigation between agricultural and other land uses. The proposal was evaluated against the criteria for subdivision, aligning with policies 3.1.2.5 A to F. Further, the proposal does not exceed the 20-acre maximum non-agricultural area of a quarter section. The application accommodates, a proposed country residential use. Lot 1 is within an existing parcel, which reflects the existing conditions of the land and minimizes impact to agricultural lands, aligning with policies 3.1.2.5 G and H of the MDP. The proposal demonstrates efficient land use with minimal impacts to agricultural operations, consistent with the residential objectives of the MDP. Pursuant to policy 3.6.2.6, the application includes technical considerations demonstrating that the proposal is not expected to cause adverse impacts to the natural environment. The subject lands are located within the Homesteads Area Structure Plan, or the ASP, in the area identified as Phase 3, which is identified as the commercial core of the community. Section 6.1.1 of the ASP notes that the ASP is conceptual and lot boundaries and land uses may be determined at the redesignation and subdivision stages. Lot 1 is located within an existing parcel identified throughout the figures within the Homesteads ASP. An outline plan noted in the policy 8.1.2 of the ASP was not required for the proposed redesignation and subdivision application of Lot 1 because it is within an existing parcel and is not pursuant to the overall development of Phase 3 of the Homesteads ASP. Lot 1 is within an area identified as a future roadway through the figures in Homesteads ASP, providing primary entrance from Range Road 264 to the west. In review of the subdivision application for the existing parcel, it was noted that locating the future roadway north of the subject lands may be preferable to the proposed location throughout the figures in the Homesteads ASP. The proposed location north of the subject lands considers the preservation of agricultural land, efficient land uses, and flexibility for the future development of Phase 3 of the ASP. Further, Section 8.1.3 of the ASP notes that the location of roads are conceptual, with final locations to be finalized at the subdivision applications stage. Therefore, road networks may be identified upon development of Phase 3. Lastly, Section 6.6 of the ASP considers open space and municipal reserve with a proposed green space and linear pathway located within the subject lands north of Lot 1. Lot 1 is a single lot subdivision with no development of Phase 3 and the broader open space network proposed. Requiring municipal reserve for Lot 1 as open space may result in a location of lands for public use that does not align with the proposed development of Phase 3 in the future. It is therefore recommended that municipal reserve as cash in lieu be requested at the subdivision stage for Lot 1, as noted in the recommendations, as the relatively small size of the parcel limits further subdivision and development in the future. Municipal reserve dedication may be required for Lot 2 as it is less than 16 hectares in size. However, the land use bylaw would support further subdivision and development in the future based on the size of Lot 2, which would require the adoption of a new area structure plan. Therefore, administration recommends deferral of municipal reserve dedication for Lot 2 by deferred reserve caveat. Lot 1 is consistent with the site regulations in the Country Residential District, which is an appropriate district for the proposed parcel size and intended use of the lands. A portion of the subject lands containing plus or minus 1.34 hectares was redesignated from the Agriculture General to the Country Residential District by Bylaw 2025-13 on June 3, 2025, in order to allow for the subdivision of the subject lands. Notification of the subdivision application was circulated to external agencies, internal departments, and adjacent landowners during a 30-day circulation period from March 7 to April 7, 2025. Comments received from external agencies and internal departments are summarized in the table within the report. Administration received no responses from adjacent landowners. Administration is recommending that the Municipal Planning Commission approve subdivision application SD 2025-002, subject to the conditions noted in the planning report. Thank you.
Thank you. MPC's wishes.
Along with the recommendations in the package.
Thank you, Member Clausen. Any discussion? Yes, Member Kester.
Condition 7A. Defer it. We're looking at subdividing this parcel in the future. Is that what I'm thinking?
If it is subdivided in the future, municipal reserve could be collected or required at that time.
So if we collect it in the future, would it be what's determined now, or would it be a new rate in the future?
It would be a new rate for that subdivision application.
So we're kind of banking on services being extended, part of that ASB that's in the area.
Through the chair, we have to go with policy that's in adopted as it is. So there is an ASP there that allows for further development to happen. The key thing with municipal reserves to keep in mind is that it's not necessarily the money. I know that's usually what we end up collecting from that. The main point is that it's the actual land that's what it's kind of meant for, whether that be for schools or for parks. This being in an area structure plan that kind of has some higher densities, it's certainly in these situations, that's where it's really important to have that MR flexibility. So if you do need to have a pathway or a park or something that affects these lands, deferring the MR to that future stage allows that flexibility at that point. Secondary part of that being obviously, yes, if we're just taking the cash value for it, in time it would certainly go up in value.
So I'm thinking, for me, we have just a couple miles or a mile down the road, an organization, community organization is endeavoring to enhance their park and pathway system. Could this money be applied to that, or is that too far away?
Through the chair to the commission, no, the money wouldn't be dispersed that way. As in the policy, 75% is put aside for school board, 25% for pathways and stuff, but it doesn't go necessarily there, and it would be based on criteria, and then it comes back to council for approval where those funds get applied to.
Okay, I'm good with it then.
Any more discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I'll call the vote. Anyone opposed? That is passed. Thank you. Move on to 3.2.
Jessica Russell presenting subdivision application SD 2025-008 to create two parcels within the northeast quarter of section 35, township 23, range 25, west of the 4th meridian. The lands are located 1 kilometer south of the town of Strathmore, 800 meters east of the intersection of Highway 817 and Township Road 240. Adjacent land uses are predominantly agriculture, farmstead, and country residential. The application proposes to create a plus or minus 32.45 hectare parcel, with a plus or minus 32.45 hectare remainder. Proposed lots 1 and 2 are used for agricultural purposes with no change of use proposed. The lots require access from Township Road 240 to the north. The proposal is consistent with the agricultural policies within the MDP, which protect the right to farm. The proposal was evaluated against the criteria for subdivision, aligning with policies 3.1.2.58G. The lot configuration divides cultivated lands conflicting with policy 3.1.2.5.H. However, the proposal is for continued agricultural uses and does not exceed the 20-acre maximum non-agricultural area of a quarter section on the northeast quarter of section 35, township 23, range 25, west of the 4th meridian. The proposal results in two parcels within the quarter section. Lots 1 and 2 are consistent with the site regulations in the Agricultural General District, which is an appropriate district for the proposed parcel size and intended use of the lands. Municipal reserve dedication for the subject lands is not required. In accordance with the Municipal Government Act, municipal reserve dedication is not required if one lot is to be created from a quarter section. Notification of the subdivision application was circulated to external agencies, internal departments, and adjacent landowners during a 30-day circulation period from April 29th to May 29th, 2025. Comments received from external agencies and internal departments are summarized in the table within the report. Administration received one response from an adjacent landowner who noted they have no concerns with the proposal. Administration is recommending that the Municipal Planning Commission approve subdivision application SD 2025-008, subject to the conditions noted in the planning report. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll move that the Municipal Planning Commission approve subdivision application SD 2025-008, subject to conditions 1 through 6. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none? Is anyone opposed? That is passed. We'll move on to subdivision 2025-009. Sorry, 009. Thank you.
Jessica Russell presenting subdivision application SD 2025-009 to create two parcels within the southwest quarter of section 23, township 24, range 20, west of the 4th meridian. The lands are located 800 meters north of the village of Hazar, 160 meters north of the intersection of Range Road 202 and Township Road 243A. Dead Horse Lake is adjacent to the parcel to the east. Adjacent land uses are predominantly agricultural and farmsteads, with the village of Hazar wastewater servicing facility located 20 meters southeast of the parcel. The application proposes to create a plus or minus 32.38 hectare parcel with a 32.38 hectare remainder. Proposed lot 1 is undeveloped, used for agricultural purposes, and is accessed by a gravel approach from Range Road 202 to the west. Lot 2 is undeveloped with a proposed use to establish farmstead and accessory buildings for continued agricultural purposes. Water servicing for Lot 2 is proposed by a water well, and wastewater servicing is proposed by a holding tank. Lot 2 is accessed by an existing gravel approach from the municipal road right-of-way to the south of the parcel, road plan 1876M. The proposal is consistent with the agricultural policies within the MDP, which protects the right to farm. The proposal was evaluated against criteria for subdivision, aligning with policies 3.1.2.5 A to G. The lot configuration divides cultivated lands, conflicting with policy 3.1.2.5 H. However, the proposal is for continued agricultural use and does not exceed the 20-acre maximum non-agricultural area of a quarter section. The proposal results in 2 parcels within the quarter section. The lands are located within the plan area identified within the intermunicipal development plan between the village of Azar and Wheatland County. The proposal is consistent with policy 3.4.1 of the IDP, which states that the primary land use in the plan area shall be agricultural. Policy 3.9.7 of the IDP states that subdivision and development adjacent to water bodies, steep slopes, or natural areas shall take into consideration flooding, slope stability, and soil characteristics to minimize impacts. The proposed use of the lands is continued agriculture with no development proposed on the westernmost portion of the lands adjacent to Dead Horse Lake. Pursuant to Section 7.20.6 of the Wheatland County Land Use Bylaw, a minimum setback of 30 meters from the top of bank is required for any development on properties adjacent to a water body. Lots 1 and 2 are consistent with the site regulations in the Agricultural General District, which is an appropriate district for the proposed parcel size and intended use of the lands. Notification of the subdivision application was circulated to external agencies, internal departments, and adjacent landowners during a 30-day circulation period from May 1st to June 2nd, 2025. The comments received from external agencies and external departments are summarized within the table in the report. One response was received following the circulation from an external agency, ACO Pipelines, which responded no objection. Administration received no responses from adjacent landowners. Administration is recommending that the Municipal Planning Commission approve subdivision application SD 2025-009, subject to the conditions noted in the planning report. Thank you.
Thank you. MPC's wishes. Yes, member.
I'll move that the Municipal Planning Commission approve subdivision application SD 2025-009, subject to conditions 1 through 6.
Thank you. Just a question to the to member Clausen and member Bigger. Did you get the ATCO circulation? Was that emailed to you?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Just on regard, I don't believe, is this a new policy from ATCO? I don't remember seeing this.
This is often how their circulation responses come. This one was just submitted after the circulation period and was included, as it wasn't included in the table within the report.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing hearing none, I will call the vote. Is anybody opposed? That is passed. Thank you. We'll move on to SD 3.4, SD 2025-011.
Jessica Russell presenting subdivision application SD 2025-011 to create 2 parcels within the southeast and southwest quarters of Section 1, Township 27, Range 18, west of the 4th Meridian. The subject lands are located 3.15 kilometers east of the intersection of Highway 564 and Township Road 270. The lands are north of an undeveloped portion of Township Road 270, accessed through adjacent lands. The proposal adjusts the boundaries of 2 existing lots with no new titles created or development proposed. Therefore, access may be accommodated through adjacent lands. The proposal generally aligns with the applicable statutory and non-statutory plans. The proposal is consistent with the agricultural policies within the municipal development plan, which protects the right to farm, and was evaluated against the criteria for subdivision, aligning with policies 3.1.2.5 A to H. Further, the proposal does not exceed the 20-acre maximum non-agricultural area of a quarter section. Policy 3.1.2.3 considers the environment and state of land in consideration of agricultural land use operations. The lands are located in the southern portion of the Badlands with varied topography and limited access to undeveloped municipal right-of-ways. Policy 3.13.3.4 requires new subdivision to construct legal and physical road access. However, the proposal does not create any new parcels or new titles with no new development proposed. Lots 1 and 2 are consistent with the site regulations in the Agricultural General District, which is an appropriate district for the proposed parcel size and intended use of the lands. Municipal reserve dedication for the subject lands is not required as the lot is greater than 16 hectares in size and used for agricultural purposes. Notification of the subdivision application was circulated to external agencies, internal departments, and adjacent landowners during a 30-day circulation period from May 1st to June 2nd, 2025. Comments received from external agencies and internal departments are summarized in the table within the report. One additional response was received after the circulation period from ATCO Pipeline, responding no objection to the proposal. Administration received no responses from adjacent landowners. Administration is recommending that the Municipal Planning Commission approve subdivision application ST 2025-011, subject to the conditions noted in the planning report. Thank you.
Thank you. MPC's wishes. Yes, Member Larson.
I'll move that Municipal Planning Commission approve subdivision application SD 2025-011, subject to the conditions 1 through 5 as in the report.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I will call the vote. Anyone opposed? That is passed. That brings us to the end of this MPC. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.